display on their helmets. I'm joined now by sports lawyer Anthony Toll, who's in Manhattan Beach, California. Anthony, thanks very much for joining us. Why is it such a big deal that the NFL takes part in this?
Well, I think because the NFL is a league that's over 80% African American, and a lot of the guys on these teams that play for these owners of these teams are the great talent that make the NFL one of the top sports leagues in the history of the world. And a lot of the guys that play on these teams come from that environment where they could have been shot. They have family members that are shot by police, where there's police abuse all the time. And they have family members that are locked up in jail because we have such a complex prison system here in America. So with that being the case, the NFL basically is smart business to let these athletes express their opinion. And I do think it will move the needle a little bit with regard to public opinion among whites in America as well.
Well, so I was going to ask you about that public opinion, because there has been political divide over whether or not athletes should take part in these protests and make their feelings known. What is the current temperature like on that front?
Well, the temperature here in America is pretty inflamed, and there's a lot going on with regard to race relations. There's protests almost every night. However, the athletes, since the beginning of their existence in America, have always protested, going all the way back to Jack Johnson, one of the great African American champions in like 1909, all the way through Muhammad Ali. So when Colin Kaepernick took a knee, he kind of sparked this revolution. And unfortunately, with the killing of George Floyd and several other shootings that we saw after George Floyd, the athlete, everything that Colin Kaepernick stood for, the league has come along and jumped on. And America as well, we've seen a shift in the white support of the protests and of the taking of the knee. And we've seen a lot of white athletes take a knee. So there has been a shift, but the temperature is high. And this is a history that is not going to go away anytime soon. So we're working on it.
There's taking a knee, as you mentioned. There's refusing to sing the national anthem. And we mentioned these pre-approved phrases as well as the names of victims. What are some of the ways athletes are displaying their views?
Well, a lot of them are displaying it by having a cause. What the NBA is doing is they're having a cause on the back of their uniform. Same with the NFL. So you'll hear something like justice or equality, or you will see the name of one of the victims, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd. You'll see these names, and these names have become synonymous with the movement. A lot of athletes are also putting their money where their mouth is, and they force the owners in some of these leagues to open up their stadiums for voting booths and for voting polls and for safeness. So they've made a great change, and I'm happy to say that I've seen it, and I've seen the difference that they've made, because a lot of these guys make money beyond a lot of people's dreams, and now they're finally trying to use that power and leverage it to make some true change, and they're getting some support from obviously the billionaire owners.
Sports lawyer Anthony Toll in the United States, thanks very much